Hello.
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 Every Rush song.
Buenas noches, my friends, and welcome to Hemispheres.
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 The next album on our list of Rush songs to analyze as we go through this process of analyzing every Rush song, which coincidentally enough is where you can find us on social media at Every Rush Song.
Every Rush song.
Every Rush song.
What do you think? Hemispheres?
Song.
Yes or no to Hemispheres? You like it?
I love Hemispheres.
It's my second favorite Rush album.
Is it?
Mine too.
Is it, Tim?
Yeah. It's my
Is it,
second
Jay?
favorite Rush
Is
album.
it? Wow.
I absolutely freaking love Hemispheres.
Tim, I have a question for Jay. I should rehearse this better.
Yeah.
Jay, do you have any interesting facts about Hemispheres? If someone was new to Hemispheres, what would they need to know?
Well, gee, Shane, I'm so glad you asked. Let's start with the fact that Hemispheres was released on October 29th, 1978.
Oh, for Tim's birthday almost.
Almost.
Golly. Thank you, Rush.
It's Rush's sixth studio album. It was recorded at Rockfield Studios in Monmouthshire,
Said
in
what?
Trident Studios in London, with Terry Brown, which we had discussed, I believe, in our previous conversation. It says here that the album examines and analyzes the human psychology via the left and right brain portions of the brain, which is a concept developed by none other than the lyricist and drummer Neil Peart. Go on to say the first song, Cygnus X1 Book 2, is the sequel to Cygnus X1 Book 1 that was on the previous album, The Farewell to Kings, that came out in 77. So I guess that was just a year. Man, they got right to work. They weren't messing around.
Man, for a while.
That's the way
they
you
were
did
just-
it back in the days.
Yeah.
Especially in the 70s. It was record an album, take it on the road. While you're on the road, you were expected to start writing new material, and you'd go over it and do some arranging during sound checks and stuff like that. But you might get a week or two off after the tour, and then you were back in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the way it was back then.
It's a full-time job.
Well,
Well,
because number one, you weren't making any money off of album sales. You were making money by being on the road.
Right.
You know, it's how you get paid.
Would you say it's kind of the same now? Because I mean, or is it
No.
different now?
I think it's a lot different now.
Yeah, but everything is streamed now, so the artist doesn't make as much money off the music as they used to.
Okay.
Before they would
yeah.
tour to support the album, and I
To
think
get people to,
Yeah,
but to get people to go out and buy the album so they can pay the record company back for all the time they spent in studio. But you're right. So at a point, I would say, like, especially pop music in the 90s, you know, those pop artists are putting out, you know, an album has 2 or 3 hit songs, you know, or at least just the one hit song, but they were doing their deals differently back then. So, you know, and they would go on tour, but man, it wasn't the grind that the bands of the 70s
Yeah.
were going through. And even, you know, through the early to mid 80s, you know, you had to, if you wanted to make money, you had to put on a concert.
Yeah. the early days of the Foo Fighters and Rush and all those guys playing shithole clubs and
Right.
all that stuff. It would play anywhere that they can make a dime.
Yeah.
Earn every cent you can to pay back that loan to the record company.
Right.
Recording and promoting your album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
78. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say there's one little piece of stupid trivia that I picked up on here. It said that Neil Peart introduced the gong and the timpani to the percussion set for the first time on this album.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Man, that gong at the end of book 2.
Yes.
Oh.
I loved it.
Yes. And because he had already introduced the bells and chimes from Farewell to Kings.
Mm-hmm.
So he had added that. So he introduced the gong and the timpani, but what else did he introduce?
Well, I'm so glad
there's one more percussive instrument that showed up on that album. No. I'm sorry. He introduced that on Xanadu, Farewell to Kings. I'm wrong.
I was gonna say there was one, and I thought it was on this album. There's one song. It's just a quiet. It's just like the music stops, and all you hear is a little triangle, a little. Ding.
Oh yeah. That's in Prelude, the Hemispheres Prelude.
That was greatness.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it could. Crash, higher, but it's
I love the ting.
Hello.
The triangle, not used nearly enough in rock and roll.
No.
Except Fraggle Rock. Know what I'm saying? Remember that?
I hear you.
Remember junior high when I got to play with the drum corps and I played triangle for Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
One of the highlights of my life, even though it was a triangle, getting to play with the drum corps.
Right. And we performed in front of the entire school, the Fraggle Rock theme, and we were all wearing our members only jackets. I want to say sunglasses and some kind of like racing hats or something like that. Something stupid.
It was the do-rag, the bandana, right? Wasn't it that?
No, we weren't cool enough to sport do-rags.
No, not that. All right, so a couple of other albums from 78. Tell me what you think. Parallel Lines from Blondie came out in 1978.
Okay.
This year's Model, Elvis Costello. Some Girls, Rolling Stones. Darkness on the Edge of Town.
One of the greatest Springsteen albums.
Overrated. Van Halen from Van Halen. Outlandos d'Amor by the Police. The Cars by the Cars. Who else? I saw some others that were interesting because I listened to a few of them just to get an idea. Peter Gabriel's, I guess, first solo album wasn't very good. I didn't like it. Pieces of 8 by Styx. Don't Look Back by Boston. Sound-wise, I mean, Hemispheres. I mean, at this point, albums sounded a lot better than just a few years earlier. There were some pretty crappy albums from just a few years earlier, but just the recording quality, the sound quality on Hemispheres, I think, is just way better than any of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I was looking this up to see another great album came out in 78 by one of my favorite all-time artists, Mr. William Martin Joel. He came out with the album 52nd Street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which contained the song Zanzibar, on which a gentleman by the name of Freddie Hubbard played trumpet, this just crazy ass trumpet solo. And I had a little touch of greatness because when I was in high school, we went to the Caravan of Dreams. Remember that place, the
Oh,
jazz
yeah.
club?
Yep.
And Freddie Hubbard was playing, and we were sitting over in the corner because they didn't card us. We're drinking champagne and playing pennies because we didn't have quarters with the champagne. And during his break, I went over to talk to Freddie Hubbard, and I told him that I was in the Denton 1 o'clock jazz band.
Oh no.
And
Really?
that I am an excellent screamer on the trumpet. I like to play those high notes.
Now, Jay,
And he-
was this because you had to be a big shot, didn't you?
oh, I had to be a big shot, which also coincidentally is on that album. Good call. But
Yo.
he knew, he saw right through it. He knew I was bullshitting, but he was very nice about it. He was a very nice guy. And then after he told me, yeah, man, the high note thing, that's just not my deal, man. He goes, I just say everything. I say it with everything else. So he goes back for a second set, and the first thing he does is just starts wailing.
That's awesome.
Hey, you didn't happen to say, yeah, man, I'm really good at hitting those high notes. Like the highest note I've ever hit was a J sharp.
Yeah, then he would have thought you were being sincere.
Oh, dear.
So I don't have the experiences, the memorable experiences with anything from Hemispheres like I did from Power Windows, except the time when I was working at 7-Eleven and my supervisor was trying to dance to the trees, and it was on the 5/4 instrumental part. And like every fifth beat, she just like almost fell over because there's this extra beat in this dance thing she's trying to do.
That's awesome. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. See, that's I still love that. That is the best cover of that song ever.
Oh
The
yeah.
Trees by
Richard
What's that
the
guy's
Richard
name?
Cheese.
Richard
Yeah.
Richard
Cheese.
Cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
Good
shooby
Lord.
dooby doo.
Scooby and Scrappy Doo.
Hey, what's the matter, you?
Oh,
So the
I
album
wish he would do an
cover.
entire album of Rush.
That's the only one. That's the only song you did, right?
That's the only
Yeah.
one he did. Yeah.
It was from his Christmas album.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wonder, well, wait a second. It's a Christmas album
Why is
Because
the
the
trees
tree,
on it?
Christmas tree.
because of the Christmas tree.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I just thought it was his gift to Rush fans.
And a great gift it is
Yes.
as it should be.
Now, did you know that the model for the Starman from 2112 is on the Moving Pictures album cover?
Is he the naked dude?
No. He's the dude in the suit and the bowler. He had to
Is
wear
he
clothes
really?
this time. Yeah.
So that guy
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
yeah,
model.
yeah, yeah.
So then that's kind of funny. Then who's the naked dude? Do we know who that is? Some
No, but if
ballet
you're that
guy?
interested, I'll get his number for you. No, he was a dancer, I think it was from I don't remember. He was a dancer from somewhere in that, I guess, that Toronto area.
No, that was my Uncle Fred.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Here we
was a
go.
dancer at that risque bar over in Bedford.
There's a risque bar. Okay.
Yeah, well, there was back
A-
then.
What's a risque bar?
What is a risque bar?
A risque bar.
I that's just what my parents told me. I
Oh.
don't know. I was too young to go. But yeah, Uncle
Oh.
Fred, and then yeah, his talent agent got him
Mhm.
hooked up, and so he is the naked man. Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred.
God rest his soul.
No, he's still alive.
Oh, okay. Well, we
Yeah.
could still, rest his soul anyway.
He walks around everywhere naked now. He sort of lost his mind.
Haven't we all?
He's walking down the street and he comes to a four-way stop and he does the pose with his nakedness.
From that pose or that pose?
He switches. It depends if he comes to a red light. If it's red, he does this. If it's green, he does this.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm guessing the guy in the boat in the suit is the Apollonian character, Apollo's side, the mind dude from the mind
Right?
guys.
Yes.
And the dancer maybe is the Dionysus.
Yes. Love and free and
Dionysus.
all.
My kid calls him Dionysus. And she
Oh, and
insists that
I
it's
just
Dionysus, not
I
Dionysus.
just noticed this. How stupid am I? I
What's
just
that?
noticed that they're each standing on one side of the brain.
Right. And if you're looking at it from the front, right? Because it looks like if you're looking at the album cover, that
Yeah.
the front of the brain is towards the middle, the dude in the suit is on the right side, and
Right.
the naked and free guy is on the left side. So that that hemispheres thing. Yeah.
Man,
Quite
that's
clever.
crazy stuff.
Who even came up with that?
Boy, if that's
Neil,
if that's not a political
Fuson.
statement, I don't know
Fuson.
what is.
A political statement, really?
Yes.
Like right brain, like right
Left
wing, left
side,
wing.
right, left wing, right wing.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of
Batwing, X-wing.
Bat? Do you say Batwing?
Batwing, yes.
Nice. Well played, Jay. Well played. Yeah, I think that's kind of a theme of the whole album, not just the Cygnus X1 Book 2, that whole transcending the differences to transcending in general. But I think first couple of songs are about differences. The trees, you have the maples and the oaks that are fighting it out. And X1 Book 2, you've got the Apollo versus the Dionysian army, and then circumstances kind of transcending his he had this life and then he's trying to transcend it, but you kind of get this impression that even though he does, doesn't change him much. He doesn't feel any different about himself. And then La Via Strangiato, just the dreams, Alex's dreams.
Yeah, that's the it's funny you should say that, because I was just reading that. It was the about Alex's dreams, saying it was based upon various nightmares that he would have.
Now there are two
while
things.
on tour.
Isn't that cool that he's somehow able to translate his dreams into songs?
He said, which provided a theme to what he described as a musical recreation of his nightmares. That's kind of cool.
Crazy. I know. Monsters.
Wow.
Jump scare. You know what? And you know what? A lesson here, because I had just turned my back on Tim, and remember that. Never turn your back on a monster.
Right.
Right.
Never.
Are you saying Tim is a monster? Or?
No, I would never say that. There's two things that bug me about doing Hemispheres next. Do you want to hear number 1 or number 2 first?
I would like to hear number 2, but just part of it, and then the last half of number 1.
Okay. The last half of number 1.
No,
the first part of number 2.
Yeah.
Is that it's the second. Now, going back to the first part of number 2, we already covered one of the songs. This will be the first time we're covering a song again. Are we going to redo La Via Strangiato?
Yeah. Well, we could just cheat and repost that. No, I've got more to discuss about it.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear, Jay, who I'm pointing to up on this side. I can never tell which.
I mean, after all, that is one of my favorite Rush songs ever.
Yes. Tim, do you concur?
The lyrics alone
are just mind-blowing.
We're just diving into it again. So I would like to invite you, dear listener, joining us on this journey through every Rush song. Go back and listen to that episode, La Via Strangiato. Tell us what we missed. You've got a couple of weeks before we record? No, they don't. The way I'm completely wrong. We'll have already recorded it, but still, we want to know what you think about that one, and we'll course correct along the way. Here's my second problem. If I can try to save this thing, we're doing the Cygnus books out of order. We're going to do book 2 here with Hemispheres, and we haven't done Cygnus X1 book 1 yet. Is that okay?
I want to throw out a little controversy.
Oh,
or controversy.
I love a good bit of controversy.
I went back and listened to Cygnus 1,
Mhm,
book 1.
mhm.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just saying.
Wow. I could see how you would be hesitant to say that because it will create a wave of controversy throughout
I know.
the Rush
I know.
fandom.
I
Listeners.
don't
Jay,
think
not
it's an
afraid.
issue doing book 2 before we do book 1.
I
No.
know
For
we're
the
going to talk
most part,
about.
it's 2 different stories. It's
That
just a character shows up.
yeah.
Okay.
To me, that would be like saying we're going to have to do Fly By Night before we do Crest of Steel because of Bytorn the Snow Dog and then the Necromancer.
Yeah, but Bytorn the Snow Dog isn't Bytorn the Snow Dog book 1 and Necromancer Bytorn the Snow Dog book 2.
Shut up, Shayne.
Okay. I'm shutting up. You don't have to tell me twice. Somebody tells
Shut
me
up.
to shut up. I
Shut
shut
up.
up.
Shutting up.
Okay.
Tim,
Yeah.
take us home.
I love Lamp.
Wait.
Do you love lamp, Tim, or you just see a lamp and say that you love it?
I love Lamp.
Well, there you have it, folks.
So, Jay, La Via Strangiato, is that your favorite album from Hemispheres?
Yes,
I mean,
that's my
favorite
favorite
song.
album from Hemisphere.
Man, sometimes I talk faster than I can think.
Hey,
and I
I'm
can't
with
do
you,
either
man.
very fast.
You and me both, sister. No, yes, that would definitely be my. That's a tough one because Trees is my favorite. Another one of my favorite Rush songs.
Tim,
Son of a bitch.
what are you gonna do? Tough calls, tough calls. Tim, favorite song of Hemispheres before we analyze them? Because I'm gonna change your mind. My goal is just to change Tim's mind on every album to make his least favorite song
Okay.
make him like it more.
My favorite song would be Circumstances.
Bullshit.
And then my second favorite
Sorry.
would be Hemispheres
cussed.
Book
I'm
2 with the Trees and La Villa Strangiato tied for second.
I agree with you about the second place one.
We need to talk about Tim's ranking methodology. It's he kind of gives
me wrong.
He kind of gives up after number 1.
Right.
Hey, I'm no Power Windows. I said Middleton Dreams was number 1. Big Money, Grand Designs, Manhattan Project, Territories, and Marathon were tied at number 2 with Emotion Detector and Mystic Rhythms, a distant number 3.
Distant. Now you put I should have covered this last week for the Power Windows ending. What's it called? Preview, post view, whatever. So those are equal to you. You dislike them equally, or you like them equally less than the others. Emotion Detector and
Right, they're on
I really
the
can't.
same Mystic Rhythms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now when I first started to listen to Hemispheres, I always listened to Trees first and then La Villa Strangiato. Those were my 2 favorites. And but after time and actually just listening to Circumstances, and man, when they brought that song back and played it on the Snakes and Arrows tour, boy, there's a song you were like, really? I would expect them to bring out tears before they would play Circumstances. Or maybe right. Or maybe even Revendell, before. Just never thought I would hear that song live. And that was awesome.
I'm gonna have to give that some more consideration.
I'm gonna start a little more controversy here. La Via Strangiato, like Jay, is my favorite. One of my top few Rush songs overall. I think even back when I first listened through Hemispheres the first couple of times, even then I was thinking, why isn't anyone talking about this Circumstances song? This song is so underrated. And I still think it's underrated. Circumstances does not get enough love in this world. And I seek to change that. except for Tim. I want to make Tim like it last. And the trees, kind of farther down the list of my favorite Rush songs. It's way down there. It's not very high.
Well, I mean, it's probably because it's all about socialism.
Well, I mean, it's
We're going to talk
also-
about that, aren't we?
It's
No,
probably
we're definitely
one
going to talk about that.
it's probably
boy.
it's one we hear a lot.
I think it's that.
It may be just you've heard it so many times that it doesn't have
Yeah.
the same impact that it used to have.
It's there with Closer to the Heart in that regard.
What has made me love trees more is Richard Cheese.
Well, there are a lot.
And if you don't know who
of
Richard
layers.
Cheese is, by the way, if you don't know who Richard Cheese is, check him out. His name is Richard Cheese. And he does songs in like a loungy thing. And it's all sorts of songs. We're talking like every genre, except for fusion jazz. No, he does that too. But you should totally check it out.
Yeah,
Also
his version
Rush.
of the trees is really good. Really
Hands,
cool.
yeah, it's great. I was
Yeah,
going to say
hands-
hands down, but
The trouble with the maples, and they're quite convinced they're right. Pop, pop. They say the oaks are just too lofty, and they grab up all the light. Da, da, da. But the oaks can't help their feeling, and they dig the way they're made. I
Ooh,
like
yeah.
that. Dig
I
the
love
way
it.
Dig the
they're
way
Dig
they're
the way
made.
they're made. I never
They dig it,
didn't
baby.
notice that.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of layers to those lyrics, Tim. You're gonna love it when we analyze that song. You are
the
gonna.
trees will end up being an 8-part.
Oh, could it be
episode.
our first that we split into 2 parts? Will it?
We're going to make a concept album out of the trees.
Spoiler alert, it won't. Well, all right.
With a bonus track called Space Guitar.
Space guitar, space guitar. I'm playing you alone in this bar. We're in space.
Children of the 80s are playing space guitar.
Space
They're
guitar
singing
has
songs of
made a
saccharine.
comeback
Wait,
because
saccharin?
it fell
Saccharin.
out
Say
of
saccharin.
orbit.
Saccharin
Like the stuff in soda? Okay.
and building fancy
All
cars.
right. Well, I'm excited about the trees. The trees. I'm excited about Hemispheres because mythology. You too. It's just such a gift that I get to talk about mythology next week.
Oh no.
All right. So, are there any old late 1960s, early 70s, maybe early 80 movies that we need to watch to
No, you
get
probably
us
need to
more
read
up
some.
to? Oh, you know what? No, I'll just watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Maybe read a little Sigmund Freud. Might talk about some Freud next week with
Clash of the Titans and Smoking the Bandit, probably.
yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Watch
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans, Smoking the Bandit, and read a little Sigmund Freud. That'll pretty much get you set for Cygnus
Oh,
X1 book 2.
Hey guys, I just
Hey.
received a text
Hey.
message from
How
Yes,
are
who's
ya?
it from? That's funny. Well,
Howdy.
that's just in time.
Yes,
'Cause
I
they
just-
can
I
help
just-
you
yes, they will in a moment.
this.
But I want to say that our friend Randy sent me a text talking about our live that
Okay.
we did earlier, saying
Earlier
that
tonight.
he's proud of me. By the way, you made the correct choice for the keyboard era. Boom.
Okay. All
That
right.
just
There it
happened.
is. Because I would like
Okay.
to reiterate that we don't know. We're just throwing these things out there. We're just starting a conversation. We need your help finishing it at every Rush song on every social media platform.
And speaking of finishing it, Tim, take us out.
This is how we finish it. Thank you very kindly, Arlington. Good night. Ready?
Wait, no, let me record it.
Oh my
she's
goodness.
recording it.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah. Wait.
Here we go. Thank you very much, Arlington. We love you. We'll see you again sometime. Good night.